It's Elliot
and Sarah,
and this is 52 weeks of encouragement, one encouraging video every week of this 52-week year. Today we're going to talk about being encouraged to lean into the awkward, because there's some awkward stuff that happens in life. There's awkward stuff that God leads us to. It's uncomfortable, but it's really good, so check this out.
All right, this is Mark 7:33 through 35, and it says, Jesus led him away from the crowds so they could be alone. He put his fingers into the man's ears. Then, spitting on his own fingers, he touched the man's tongue. Looking up to heaven, he sighed and said, Ephphatha, which means be opened. Instantly the man could hear perfectly, and his tongue was freed, so he could speak plainly.
Whoa, that's uncomfortable.
Definitely would not pass in church culture.
Oh no, it would not.
Yeah.
Jesus would be fired from the church. If he was like a pastor, I'm guaranteed he'd be fired. So you got this guy who's he's deaf and he has a hard time talking, and so Jesus, he's gonna heal him, but he takes him aside, so it's just man to man. He puts his fingers in the guy's ears, and it's like, okay, when was the last time somebody put their fingers in your ears? Can you imagine like just somebody putting their fingers in your ears? I mean, I've had wet willies. It's about the most offensive thing possible. And then Jesus spits on his fingers, and then what?
And then he touches his tongue.
Touches the guy's tongue. So he puts his fingers in his ears. Jesus takes his own saliva, touches the man's tongue with his saliva. So awkward, so weird, but so true to who Jesus is today. So what do you think? How do you think that applies to our day-to-day life?
When I think of things that are awkward, a lot of times it's something that, I think, at least I think, if something's awkward to me, I automatically think it's bad or it's wrong. But awkwardness is really just a response to something that's unfamiliar. So, I mean, this is something that's really unfamiliar to us and, our culture and how we roll. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's wrong or it's out of bounds per se. And obviously, it's like you have to be cautionary, just because not everything that's awkward is good and not everything that's awkward is bad.
Yeah.
But Jesus does something that I don't think anybody has ever done, and he knew what he was doing. And I think sometimes in life, God calls us into something that feels really awkward, or he commissions us or asks us, put something on our heart that's super awkward, and we're like, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
But just because we're uncomfortable with it, or just because it's not something that's familiar to us, doesn't mean that that's not something that he actually is asking us to do. Yeah,
so think about pop culture right now. What are the most important things in our culture? Having a good career, having your place, having some good furniture, having a good vacation life, having some good income, having good high status friends, right, that are entertaining and interesting. And man, what if Jesus is calling you to kind of put some of that stuff aside for the benefit of his kingdom? Maybe he's calling you to do something so awkward. Maybe he's calling you to quit your job to focus on your family. Maybe he's calling you to make some friends who aren't high status, make some friends with people who could never repay you or make you, higher status in our culture. Maybe Jesus is calling you to pray for somebody who you're totally uncomfortable praying for. When I think of people I'm most uncomfortable praying for, I think of, vulnerable moment, people in my most immediate family. And people who are total strangers. People who are total strangers, praying for them, it's I don't want them to think I'm weird. People in my immediate family, because they know me so well that I'm so vulnerable even with the words of my prayers. And I just want to I think we're totally encouraged to lean into the awkward. Jesus he has some amazing kingdom work he wants to do in us and through us. And sometimes that's some of the most awkward stuff ever.
Yeah.
At this point, it's putting his fingers in a guy's ear and touching his own saliva to his tongue, and it caused this man's life to be changed forever. Hope you were encouraged today. Encourage what?
Encourage that awkward moments.
Encourage to lean into the awkward.
Encourage to lean into the awkward.
Sure.
There you go.
There it is. Have a good one.